Hola and welcome to the Total Soccer Show CONMEBOL Draft 11 special. My name is Daryl Grove and I'm joined by Taylor Rockwell. Hello.
Hey buddy, how you doing?
Pretty good. Did you see me try and remember the Spanish for my name is?
No. I was trying to figure out if you were worried that you were mispronouncing CONMEBOL. I was wondering if you were trying to remember what CONMEBOL stands for. It could have been so many different things that gave you pause for concern.
Didn't we look into what CONMEBOL stands for? And it kind of doesn't make sense, right? The CON at the start is Confederation. Yep. And then there is like a South American football thing.
I think it's the ME is South America. It's the ME in America there. Yeah. And then bowl is, I forget what.
The last three letters of football.
Football, yeah, there it is.
Like they've just chosen random parts. Unless there's some like Spanish custom of doing acronyms that is different to how we do it in English.
Yo no sé.
All right, so we are doing our Draft 11 of the best players in CONMEBOL. If you're not familiar, CONMEBOL is South America.
Yep.
All the South American countries, all 10 of them. It's the smallest confederation, but maybe the highest concentration of talent.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
It definitely is the smallest confederation.
Yeah, and that always makes me laugh then.
In terms of numbers of teams, not quality.
Yeah, obviously. And I say it always makes me laugh, but recently it has made me laugh when people are all up in arms about how, with the new World Cup qualifying, the expanded format, that CONMEBOL will only get 6, I think it is, and people are like, how can they only get 6 and CONCACAF gets 6.5? It's like, well, there are 10.
60% of their teams.
Yeah, exactly. That's how.
Or man.
Yes.
So if you had our UEFA show, the way we do this is we sort of we flip a coin. Last time it was a Cliff Bar, we got a coin today.
Yep.
We see who goes first, and we each pick a player in the draft, and we try and put together our best possible team of South American players. Then we compare and contrast, and then listeners say that my team is best.
I think it was split last time, right? I think we I didn't see the poll, but I'm pretty sure we had roughly the same number of votes.
Yeah, it was close to 50-50.
Okay.
I mean, we have one pick each, right?
Well, who actually won?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I feel like that means me.
All right, before we get to today's draft, do you want to share any sort of pre-draft fears, strategies, or ideas?
I'm not telling you anything. Get out of here.
Let's be clear. There's one player that we both want, right? So whoever wins the toss, I assume, goes for that player. And looking at my sort of draft board that I've made, which is actually
Fred, right? That's who we're talking about.
The unstoppable number 9.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a lot of high quality players, but not as many players as the European draft. So it's like I fear for missing out on certain people.
Yeah, I mean, I think by the same token, it was easier for me this time because I don't think there were as many players. Because yes, there are many great Peruvian players and Ecuadorian players, but you're definitely not going to have nearly as many of them. And I think the big countries are the ones that dominated, and so it's less with those big countries. You don't have, or fewer, excuse me. You don't have as many options as I think you might in, say, UEFA.
So you're telling me you're not drafting Paulo Guerrero, so I could just take him off the board easily.
Yeah, he's all yours, my friend. And I mean, and again, that's no disrespect, but the idea here is that you're picking like the all-star 11, the best possible 11 you could get. And I understand that you could make arguments for like, actually, he's a linchpin in in the Peruvian midfield or the Bolivian midfield, so you want him in your team. But it's not going to displace some of the bigger names in my mind because
we're both scared to say the names in case we give too much away.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. So, with that in mind, shall we decide who goes first?
Yeah, I have.
You're flipping. You've got the coin this time.
I have American coinage. I wanted to find a South American coin, something from Brazil maybe, but I don't have anything.
All right.
So yeah, good old-fashioned American quarter. Should we say? You want to call it?
Sure. I will call heads.
Okay. Flip on my palm. Put it down. It's heads.
All right.
Taylor picks first.
Hooray. I think it's the first time I've gotten to pick first in a draft.
Is that right?
And I'm going to go the obvious route. I'm going to go Fred. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to go Messi. It's got to be Lionel Messi. I mean, I think that's the obvious selection there.
Of course it
I'm not sure where I'm going to use him quite yet. My formation will maybe evolve as we go.
Yeah, so that's the deal, right? We both have a formation in our head, I assume, and like maybe a depth chart in each position, but you can also alter it as you go.
Indeed.
Okay, so since you've gone Messi, the obvious move is for me to go Neymar.
Yep.
So I'm taking Neymar Jr. Just to be clear, not Neymar Senior, Neymar Jr.
Yes. Yeah.
Younger and fitter.
Younger and fitter, but maybe not as good of an actor. I have not seen the new XXX, but apparently he is in the new XXX
Neymar
movie.
Senior?
Neymar Jr.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. As a secret agent. I'm not sure how that goes over. Who knows? So, okay. I'm tempted to go just the full route, and I think I will. Well, no, I'm not going to do that. I thought about doing just the full MSN, but I'm not. I'm going to route out my Yeah, that's a good point. But I mean, completing it with our first 3 picks, but I'm not. Instead, I'm going to go as another maybe midfield attacker type player, I'm going to go Alexis Sanchez.
Interesting.
That's my next one.
That is a good pick.
Yes,
Okay.
I think so.
Then in that case, since you've gone Sanchez, I'll cross him off my list because he was a possibility. I am going to take Luis Suarez.
Yep.
And I'm going to put together a Suarez-Neymar strike force and see what they would do without Leo Messi. Maybe freed from the sort of...
My guess is score goals.
The long shadow of Leo Messi, then Neymar and Suarez can be the go-to guys.
Okay. I'm tempted to make you sad with my next selection because I feel like he's definitely going to be in there.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I'm actually going to go with an area that... It would be strange. It's strange to pick. There's like a lot of preamble in this one, but it's necessary because I do think there are certain positions in the South American pool that aren't particularly strong, as strange as that is. So you do have players who are, say, starting in, for example, goalkeeper for their national team, getting 0 appearances for their club team.
Yeah.
So I did want to go with somebody who's getting.
So we talk about
minutes.
Sergio Romero here.
Sergio, and name him, Alisson for Brazil. It seems to have cemented himself as the starter. He is not playing for Roma, I believe it is. Yeah, same thing for Sergio Romero. So.
He does get free tickets to every Man United game, though.
And he plays in the Europa League, so there's that. But in the end, and then even David Ospina as well doesn't get consistent minutes. So I'm going to go with Fernando Muslera is my goalkeeper.
Oh, interesting.
Yep, Uruguayan goalkeeper, Galatasaray's goalkeeper, gets lots of minutes, does big things, is always linked with big clubs. I'm going goalkeeper first, and it's Muslera.
Would it pain you to know that wouldn't have been my pick? So now I can leave my goalkeeper till the last pick.
No, that's good, and I'm curious to know why he wouldn't have been your first pick.
Okay. So I think I'm going to go with someone who's very hot right now. He's going to be my left back.
Yeah.
It's going to be Marcelo.
Yep.
I'm going to take Marcelo.
Yeah, I think that's a solid one.
Get him in at left back.
Why have you gone Marcelo?
Even in defeat in the recent Clasico, Marcelo was still absolutely outstanding. Marcelo, the sort of an attacking weapon from left back, is also, I think, now a very good defender. If you try and go at him one-on-one, he'll probably elbow you in the mouth.
Okay.
So there's Marcelo, my left back.
Marcelo, your left back. Okay. Then I am going to go with central midfielder for me, just to kind of start stabilizing.
I think I know who it is.
I'm going Arturo Vidal.
Of course you are.
I feel like I draft him in every single thing that we do. I always go Vidal, even if it means a certain red card.
Yeah.
I want me some Arturo Vidal in my team.
Okay, so you've got Vidal in midfield. Okay, so I'm going to next take my playmaker. He's going to be my key guy. I'm looking at you, James Rodriguez.
Okay.
Step up, step out of the shadow of Ronaldo and all those guys. You are gonna be the linchpin of my team, James, and wear the number 10. Here you go, buddy. Number 10 shirt for James.
He would not even have been in my team.
No way. Do you not remember the World Cup and Copa America? When James has a team built around him, he is unstoppable.
So is that your plan then? So you're building your whole team around James Rodriguez?
Yeah, and then James feeds Suarez and Neymar.
So then you're not building your whole team around James Rodriguez. I think that's the issue, though, is that it really does. I feel like he does have to be the main out-and-out focal point.
I just gave him the 10 shirt on a South American team.
Yeah, with 2 strikers in front of him who are going to demand the ball and want a lot of time on the ball. Okay. See, and okay.
And James is going to go, wow, you guys are so much better than Carlos Bacca. Before we move on, shall we do a quick reset and let everybody know who we've picked so far? You had first pick in the draft, so I'll let you tell us your team first.
All right. With my first pick, I went Lionel Messi. Then I went Alexis Sanchez of Arsenal. Third, I went a little maybe crazy out of the box, and I went Fernando Muslera, goalkeeper for Galatasaray and Uruguay. And fourth, I went as my big midfielder, the big presence in there, Arturo Vidal of Chile and Bayern Munich.
So you've got 2 Chileans as well. You got Sanchez, also Chilean. That's a nice partnership.
Yep.
All right, so my 4 that I've picked so far, my first pick was Neymar Jr., very clear on the junior, of Barcelona and Brazil, Luis Suarez of Barcelona and Uruguay, Marcelo of Real Madrid and Brazil, and James Rodriguez of Real Madrid and Colombia, is I believe how you pronounce it.
Colombia.
Formation still to be decided precisely. So shall we carry on, Taylor? Who's your next pick?
We can carry on, but first I want to ask, if you've now pronounced Colombia properly, does that mean for the rest of the show you're going to pronounce every other country properly?
It does not.
All right.
So what's your next pick, Taylor?
I am going to go for maybe a little bit of a hipster selection here.
Yeah.
But I've been very impressed by him. I think we both were. He's actually not even close to the top of my list, but I want him, Paulo Dybala.
Oh,
Dybala,
he was my other choice to maybe be sort of in behind the 2 strikers. I'm not even going to argue against that because I think he is the future.
All right.
Just as Emerson Hyndman is the future of the US national team, Dybala is the future of the Argentina national team.
Yeah, I think so.
Dybala. Okay, wow, this is a Dybala v James showdown. I'm in love on both sides. I wouldn't be able to choose between our 2 teams.
This has also gone more or less exactly how I thought it would. In terms of, I think that there are sort of many attacking options that you like. My list of strikers is like 7 names long, so you could really have a lot of different options in there. In terms of my defense, I basically have like 2 names at each position, and that's why I'm not surprised that we seem to be erring towards getting all the strikers off the field, or onto the field, as it were, and then maybe going towards defense.
Well, there was a weird version of this where I thought maybe. There's so many quality strikers that even if you miss out on Messi, Suarez, Neymar, you could still have another 3 amazing attacking players. Like neither of us have gone Aguero or Coutinho yet, or Dybala would have been in there, Alexis Sanchez, obviously. So you could have sacrificed the front 3 and then built like the best possible defence, and still probably, on balance, ended up with the best team. But honestly, when push came to shove and you said Messi, I couldn't help but say Neymar. I just couldn't let it go.
Because I know, and that was my thinking the last time when we just did a straight up. I think it was just a straight up draft of like who would we pick. I didn't go
it was
Ronaldo.
Champions League 11. That's what
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And I didn't go Ronaldo. You had first pick. You went Messi. I went Neymar. And I got a lot of stick for like, how you have to go Ronaldo. I was like, no, I don't. I would rather have Messi.
I can do whatever.
I would rather have Messi, obviously, but then I'd rather have Neymar.
I get it. I get it. Do whatever you want, right? Some of it's personal.
I do what I want.
Personal feeling as well.
Okay,
so. Building from the back to be either my defensive midfielder or my centre-back, depending on how things shape out.
Who could you possibly be talking about?
Step on up, the man with a torn bum. It's Javier Mascherano. He will even go that far for his national team.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about Javier Mascherano, right, is that he obviously predominantly a centre-back for Barcelona, still playing centre defensive midfield for Argentina. So he really does have the kind of the ability to do all things, the jack of all trades ability to play a defensive position.
He's also I think he's great defensive position. Like he will stop attacks coming through in a number 60 kind of way. But he's also so great bringing the ball forward, starting attacks. So Javier Mascherano, either centre back or defensive midfield. We'll see how
we'll see what happens. Well, then I'm going to start to maybe lock down at least one defensive position. It's going to be centre back, and it's going to be Diego Godin. That's going to be my starting centre back, maybe my captain. We'll see. But Diego Godin as a centre back for me.
I think that means I have to move Mascherano back to centre-back. Emergency measures. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go Chile style. And I'm going to have short guys in central defence, just like the Chilean national team have done. I'm going to put next to Javier Mascherano, Gary Medel.
See, that's a good one, yeah. And Gary Medel,
it's a mobile pair of centre-backs that cover a lot of ground and start plays from the back.
And he is one, though, that like you wouldn't think. If you looked at these teams and you look at the available players, I don't have him on my short list, but he was one where I felt weird not putting him there. Because he is so good. We've seen him be so good in 2 different tournaments at this point that it does seem like he should be there, but it's kind of tough to put him when you've got other big names from big clubs in there. So I applaud that decision. I applaud it as well because my front line, not going to be particularly tall. So I think if you're going short centre backs, that works for me.
I want to say that I looked at your front line and said, those are short guys, I'm going to put short centre backs and it'll be fine. I did not do that.
And
man, Diego Dean could have a field day though on corner kicks.
I'm okay with that. And since you've gone the lesser, the less obvious route, I'm going to do the exact same thing in the form of Thiago Silva. Just kidding. I went the very obvious name. Thiago Silva is my other centre back.
So I like Thiago Silva, but I'm not sure of his current form and his current sort of. I'm not sure if the graph chart of his career is going up or down at the moment.
I'm fine with it staying just where it is. Get minutes for PSG, sometimes being injured, missing games that he's probably happy he missed for Brazil. I'm okay with Thiago Silva in there.
Okay, I'm going to have to start building my midfield out a little bit then. So alongside James, in this midfield I'm going to put together, I'm going to have an extra creative player, Felipe Coutinho. Get him in there.
That was my initial selection for if you went Neymar, then I was going to go Coutinho, but then I think I had to go Sanchez.
And I 100% understand that he is better as one of the front 3. But I also I've seen him play central midfield for Liverpool. I know he can do it, so I'm putting him in there to do it.
All right.
Some outside of the foot passes coming out of my midfield, look out.
And now here's the problem that I have, is that you have taken one of my defensive midfielders that I was aiming for. So I could try to change it up and do like a midfield 3 at this point, but I don't know if I have the comfort in doing that. So instead I'm just going to go with the guy who's been doing it for Argentina. Again, maybe a less heralded name, but he should be probably getting more headlines. It's Ever Banega. I'm going to Ever Banega as my other defensive midfielder.
He was on my short list. I think of him as more attacking. I guess he can do a bit of both. And
I've seen him in there for Argentina in that 4-2-3-1. I've seen him as one of those 2 alongside Javier Mascherano.
Okay. Okay, then my defensive midfielder, because you've got to have one, Casemiro.
Yeah, see, so he was the obvious name, right?
Yeah,
but lately,
that's why I got him.
Lately, I've just had some questions about his ability to pick up cards when he shouldn't, about his ability to stay with markers when he should but doesn't. So that's why I skipped over Casemiro. Maybe that's like the recency bias showing. It probably is, but I'm okay with it.
Okay. So what else you got, Tyler?
Well, I've got 3 spots remaining in my 11. I need 2 more defenders and I need an attacker. And I'm looking at the names that I have as strikers, right? And it's really, I mean, you've got Aguero, you've got Cavani, Falcao, Higuain. None of them are known for like ruthless efficiency and consistency. So instead, I'm going to go a little controversial. And this is the best possible South American team, right? So we're going to say if they're fully fit on their day, best possible team, I'm going Gabriel Jesus. That's who I'm putting up top.
I thought you were going to do Pele.
No. No, I'm going to go Gabriel Jesus just because obviously he did amazing things in Brazil, moves to Man City, and continues to do amazing things right up until he gets injured. But he really doesn't skip a beat. Seems like a player who can come in there and get those goals. So I'm putting him up top, and especially because he leads that Brazil front line already.
Okay, so how about we check in? Let me know what's your 11 looking like so far.
Sure. So I think I'm leaning towards going 4-2-3-1.
Okay.
That one would be Gabriel Jesus of Manchester City, theoretically of Manchester City. Then we've got Alexis Sanchez, Paulo Dybala, and Lionel Messi as those kind of attacking 3. Alexis Sanchez of Arsenal,
so that's
Paulo
4
Dybala.
Aggressive attackers.
Yeah.
In a good
Sanchez of Arsenal, Dybala of Juventus, Messi of Barcelona, obviously. It's a very aggressive passing front 4. Then as my like theoretical defensive midfielders, I've got Arturo Vidal and Ever Banega. Vidal of Bayern Munich, Banega of Inter Milan.
Yeah, okay. That's scary.
Yeah, and I think maybe not a lot of defense going to be happening there, but a lot of tough tackling in there.
So you have your front 6 chosen already?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Then what have you got in the back? Is it just a bunch of threads at the moment?
Diego Godin as my centre back.
He's not ready.
Diego Godin of Atletico Madrid, Thiago Silva of PSG, and then my goalkeeper is Fernando Muslera of Galatasaray.
Okay, so no fullbacks, you're just missing fullbacks. Okay. I like that the first names of your centre defenders rhyme as well. Diego and Thiago.
Do they rhyme?
It kind of rhymes.
Yeah, sure.
There's a word for like almost rhymes.
Slant rhyme.
Yeah. It's what lazy poets use.
Yep.
Okay.
What about you?
My team so far selected, I have Luis Suarez and Neymar, Barcelona pairing, Uruguay forward and Brazil forward up top. I like to get a good mix of the countries as well. I've got Casemiro, Brazilian defensive midfielder for Real Madrid. I've got James as my attacking midfielder. I've got Felipe Coutinho. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what to do with him. My left back is Marcelo. My centre back pairing is the miniature twosome of Javier Mascherano and Gary Medel. That's what I have. I think I've got one pick to go as well because you went first in the draft.
That you do, my friend.
All right. So with the next pick, I can leave goalkeeper till last. I am going to finalise my midfield. I'm going to go for Angel Di Maria. So what this allows me to do is, definitely Casemiro as defensive midfielder, definitely James as the attacking midfielder, and then I can have either Di Maria or Felipe Coutinho as the sort of other central midfielder who can sort of attack from there, and then either of those can also play on the wing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I remember a time when Di Maria used to start in central midfield, but always drift out to the left and like be an extra winger. So I kind of like him doing that.
I don't think he was supposed to do that, but I think that's what
really?
he ended
It
up
seemed
doing.
like the plan for Argentina and Madrid.
I'm thinking more for Manchester United, which he was, I think, supposed to stay central, and that didn't work out so well, which is kind of the reason why he was not. He was on my list, theoretically, but I don't think I would feel comfortable picking him.
Okay, well, just from personal loyalty.
Yeah, I got no love for Angel Di Maria.
Well, none of these guys have ever played for Wolves, so I think I'm good. So yeah, I'm going to go Casemiro, Di Maria, James in midfield. I'm going to go Coutinho on the right, Neymar on the left, Suarez through the middle.
So we've put an equal amount of emphasis on defence then, it seems, if that's your midfield 3. All right.
I guess it's your turn to pick a fullback, right?
Well, since I've talked about loyalty and my Manchester United fandom, right back, he might not be the most conventional right back. I'm going Tony Valencia.
Oh, he was my pick as well.
Was he really?
Yes.
Oh, wow, okay.
I've got to cross him out and think of a new right back now.
I did not think he would be your first pick, but yes.
I just, every time I've seen him this season, I thought, you're a respectable right back defensively, and I think you add a lot to the attack. You only have one foot, but you do a lot.
I was going to say, I think he plays on the right side, right?
If he played on the left side, all he would be able to do is kick the ball out of bounds for throw-ins.
He played 3 crosses in for Man United's game, I think against... I can't remember who it was against recently, but whomever it was, everybody freaked out because it was like, what? You can't play with your left foot? Get out of here.
He played crosses in with his left?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So I guess my right back then, it's going to be Dani Alves.
That's the other one.
A lot of people thought after leaving Barcelona maybe he's not the same, but I saw him for Juventus in those recent games and he looked perfectly fine to me. So Dani Alves.
Except when he misses kickoff. Other than that, yes.
But even when he does, his team wins.
Yeah, that's true.
So Dani Alves doesn't even have to be there the whole game. He's that good. He can get done in 89 minutes what you can get done in 90.
Yeah, I think that's almost certainly true. I think he can get done in 10 minutes, but I can get done in 90 minutes on a field.
My you was generic to everybody.
I see.
But yeah, specific to you, the ratio would be very different.
Yes, I think so. So that's my right back was Antonio Valencia. That leaves me the left back. My first choice was Marcelo. Since you took Marcelo, I'll go with one that I don't think is that much of a step down because I love him in his baby gazelle strides, Felipe Luis as my left back.
I also like Felipe Luis, yeah. And I don't know why I went so hard for Marcelo so early. I guess just because I'm excited about him right now. But yeah, I had in my head and on my draft list that if I don't get Marcelo, I'll take Felipe Luis. I'll be very happy. So you should be too.
Yeah, but I mean, the last time we talked about Marcelo, like I was talking about him as this player that I think has suddenly, I think of as an incredibly world-class player, an incredibly important player, and he's just kind of gotten to that level for me, so I totally understand why you would be really excited to pick him in your top 4 or 5. Yeah, and again, this is the guy who picked Fernando Muslera as like my 4th player, so yeah, why not?
So is that your final pick?
Yeah, Felipe Luis of Atletico Madrid and Brazil.
So my final pick is my goalkeeper. You went Muslera. I am going Claudio Bravo of Chile, and he plays some club football sometimes, but we don't need to talk about that.
Oh, man.
We only need to talk about his Chile performances where he wins Copa America and Copa America Centenario.
Thanks for handing this one to me, buddy. I really appreciate it. So you guys won't ever be passing out of the back then? Is that the plan?
No, we will. We'll be passing out of the back, yeah.
Okay, so then you're going to lose on own goals and goals conceded off of goal kicks? Perfect.
No, he won't be wearing a Manchester City jersey. He will play for my CONMEBOL 11 in his Chile goalkeeper jersey. I'll make sure I'll stitch that thing on there.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. I mean, really, you said that was like the obvious one when we were discussing this off air a little bit. I still think it's rough for South American goalkeepers. Really? And I think that they do tend to have better times with their national teams. And maybe it's just the situations that they find themselves in. But it is strange to me that you have a lot of goalkeepers who can't lock down the out-and-out starting job for their respective club teams.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. It's especially in the Premier League, right? You've got Romero on the bench, you've got Bravo struggling for Man City. Yep. Maybe it's just Manchester. Maybe it's specific to something in the air in the northwest of England.
Or in London, because that's where you've got David Ospina battling Petr Cech, sort of.
That's Petr Cech problem.
Yeah, and then Alisson, as we mentioned, not getting much playing time either. So, who knows?
Okay, so final line.
I mean, there are other goalkeepers in South America, but, you know.
One almost pick I had was Jose Villar, the elderly Paraguayan keeper. I think he's like 38, 39.
Nice.
I like to think of him as like the Tim Howard of Paraguay.
Yep. And if we're going to go with alternates then, I think one that I wanted to include in mine, but just couldn't quite do, especially because I went attacking talent first, so I got a lot of the top picks there, was Juan Cuadrado. Because I do think that he has... obviously this season with Juventus and last season with Juventus, despite being a Chelsea player, but also just what we've seen him do for Colombia, both in the Copa America and in the World Cup. He, I think, is right around that level for me, so that's why he's probably my 12th pick.
I have a lot of guys that I just objectively can't claim that they're good enough to be in the best 11, but I've just enjoyed watching them play. And I think of Daniel Torres of Colombia. I actually don't know where he's playing club football right now. I think he's in Italy somewhere. He was with Medellin, and I think he moved to somewhere in Italy. But Daniel Torres is a guy I really enjoyed at the Copa America. And then Jeff Montero is the other one. But there's no way I can sacrifice Neymar Jr. for Jeff Montero.
I don't think so.
There's no way to make that argument, right?
I don't think so. And I think,
but I like him is not good enough.
Yeah, and I think with that in mind, we've each, I could be wrong, but I think we've each gone with 5. We've represented 5 of the 10 CONMEBOL countries.
Is that right?
Or nations, rather, yeah.
Do you want to go one final run through the lineup then, so everyone can see who we've got?
So in a 4-2-3-1, I'll start with my goalkeeper first, then go defense and midfield. Fernando Muslera in goal, Felipe Luis and Antonio Valencia as my fullbacks, with Diego Godin and Thiago Silva as my 2 centre backs.
Okay, then, I'm actually kind of scared now. I've heard that before.
Then I've got.
It might be better than mine.
Yeah, it's not bad. Then in front of them, I've got Arturo Vidal and Ever Banega. In front of them, I've got Alexis Sanchez, Paulo Dybala, and Lionel Messi. And then up top, Gabriel Jesus. At full fitness, in a miraculous return. He's totally good to go.
So if we're going to be context specific, in goal for me, in my 4-3-3, Claudio Bravo wearing his Chile national team goalkeeper jersey. My back four, it's a 4-3-3. My back four, the centre-backs are Javier Mascherano of Barcelona and Gary Medel of Inter, these sort of tiny twosome centre-backs, very mobile, very good on the ball. My left back is Marcelo. I dare you to go after him. My right back is Dani Alves. In front of them, Casemiro is the holding midfielder. He's the central defensive midfielder. James is the number 10, James Rodriguez of Colombia, and for now, Real Madrid. I want him to move so he can get some playing time. And then floating around is Angel Di Maria of PSG and Argentina. My front 3 is Felipe Coutinho of Liverpool and Brazil on the right, Luis Suarez of Barcelona and Uruguay through the middle, and Neymar Jr. of Barcelona and Brazil on the left.
All right. Not bad. I think maybe some players slightly out of position, but I think we can make that work in the end.
Speak for yourself.
No, I am speaking for myself. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if Ever Banega really wants to think of himself as a defensive midfielder, but he's been there a couple times for Argentina, so I'm putting him there for me.
I'm starting to worry about this centre-back thing that I've got going on. It might be better in my head than it is on grass.
I don't know what you're talking about. I guess the voters will decide, won't they?
Yeah, they will. Should we give people a chance to vote? Maybe we promised to do it on the chalkboard last time and then forgot to do it.
Yeah.
This time I will type them up on the chalkboard. That's not how you do on chalkboards, is it? I will chalk them up.
You did your best,
on the chalkboard.
Yep.
Share it on Twitter and put the link in the show notes.
Okay.
People can then let us know whose team they prefer.
Wait, so when I went through the detail of naming my team, did you not end up posting that one?
I didn't, sorry.
Oh, you jerk.
What was your European team name?
It was what Peter Griffin names his boat. So it was like the SS more powerful than Superman, Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, and somebody else combined.
I didn't get the reference.
Yeah.
I just thought you were being silly.
Nope.
Do you want to name your CONMEBOL team?
Not quite yet. I got to think about it.
Oh, okay, so we'll put it on the board.
Far more powerful than the Justice League, if we're going to continue that trend.
I mean, who isn't? All right, so to close today's show, we've got 4 reports from the TSS Scouting Network, promising young players from around the globe.
Up first, we've got Ryan Marzak scouting Pione Sisto, the 22-year-old Danish winger for Celta Vigo. Sisto has played 4 matches in the last 15 games, most notably in the Europa League second leg clash with Genk. His goal there resulted in a 1-1 draw, which made all the difference as Celta booked passage to the Europa League semi-final, where they will play Manchester United.
So we're going to have Pione Sisto and Celta Vigo versus Manchester United in the Europa League semi-final.
Indeed, and in the other semi-final, I believe it is Lyon and Ajax.
I think that one's better.
In terms of overall quality or in terms of exciting players that you don't know, or both?
Yes.
Okay. Shots fired, but okay.
Up next, Wes Kaufman is scouting Ayo Akinyola, the 17-year-old American forward, we always have to say that, for Toronto FC 2.
Yep.
So, as we told you yesterday, Akinyola had a brace and an assist in the US Under-17's 5-0 thrashing of Jamaica. We've upgraded it to thrashing. Wes included the following quote from Top Draw Soccer's Will Parchman. Quote, Akinyola was the breakout star of the US's opener, and there was little question about his primacy as the attacking fulcrum in that explosive second half. It'll be interesting to see how much pressure he's able to bring to bear on Mexico in a critical group pivot match in Panama on Wednesday. More Galazzos, question mark, don't bet against it, unquote. Parchman also added this gem via Twitter, quote, Ayo Akinyola just took a crumpled resume out of his shorts and scribbled, embarrassing Jamaicans under career highlights.
Well done, Will Parchman. Well done, Wes Kaufman, for those updates. Up next, Rich Hunter scouting Nathan Ake. What do we want?
It's okay because there's an accent over the E.
All right, Ake, 22-year-old Dutch midfielder for Chelsea. Rich writes, quote, if Nathan Ake sees the field for Chelsea, then you better write a scouting report. Ake started for Chelsea against Spurs in the FA Cup semi-final and garnered positive reviews for his composure and positioning. Ake was also strong in the tackle, including a takeaway from Harry Kane that launched the counterattack that led to Williams' free kick goal. Rich has also decided to overlook the fact that young Nathan kind of sort of lost Harry Kane in the box for Spurs equalizer.
Well, that was the low diving header Harry Kane thing. I mean, that's more about Harry Kane's weird athleticism that no one knew he had, and Christian Eriksen being able to pick out a pass from anywhere on the field.
His ability to use his giant head effectively.
Yes. Final scouting report comes from Russell Varner. Russell is scouting Hugo Ariana, the 19-year-old American defender for Los Dos. That's LA Galaxy 2 to you and me. Ariana started and played the full 90 in Los Dos' 1-1 draw with Orange County SC. LA 2 are currently 5th in the USL Western Conference, 5 points behind the Sacramento Republic. It could be worse, though. He could be playing for the Senior Galaxy.
I wrote that. You're welcome.
That's a very Goalmouth joke.
Yeah, I think so.
For more cracking humour like that, subscribe to the Goalmouth podcast. Taylor's Day is Thursdays.
It is.
If you'd like to join the TSS Scouting Network, the way to go is totalsoccershow.com/subscribe. I've made a lot of assignments recently. A lot of exciting young players have been assigned. If you want to get on that list, especially if you've already subscribed, email us itchy feet in the subject line and we'll rush you a player. We'll get it to you sooner. We'll move you up the queue if you're waiting for it.
All right. Sounds good, my friend.
One final thing to let you know about. This coming Thursday evening, we are doing the second Total Soccer Show Trivia Night at Penny Lane Pub here in Richmond, Virginia.
We are.
Soccer Trivia Night 2, Electric Boogaloo. Electric boogalooing optional.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
So I'll put a link to the Facebook event invite in the show notes. If you're in Richmond or in driving distance, we recommend you come on down and partake in the soccer trivia.
And really, if you're truly dedicated, anything is driving distance.
Even if there's water.
Yep.
There's ferries, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you're in like France, you just drive across and then you kind of hop a ferry from the Aleutian Islands and then you drive down from Alaska. You're fine.
Easy. You'd have to leave right now, though.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Or a week ago. One or the other.
Okay, Taylor, thank you for taking the time to draft CONMEBOL 11s with me today.
Right back at you, buddy.
Listeners, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.